Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you a simple trick to get rid of power lines and poles in your landscape pictures. And also while I'm at it, I will show you how to remove noise. So just follow along. Okay, here's a sunset photo that is pretty dark, not really all that colorful, although it does have some nice clouds. And I actually despise power lines. Now, I suppose if they're going to show perspective or run along a road that you're taking a picture of, it's probably okay to leave them. But in a photo like this, I don't want them. And even though the poles are easy to see and the lines are not so easy to see, it still bothers me knowing that they're there. So, one of the great features of Paint Shop Pro is the scratch remover tool. Now, the original purpose was to repair old photos that are scratched, but it works great for other things too. So to start with, I'm going to duplicate the layer. So as you can see, I have my layers palette, my history, and my materials palette open. And how you do that, you just go to palettes and check mark the ones that you want to see. Okay, so I'm going to go to the layers menu and click duplicate layer. And now as you see, I still have my background here, and here's a copy of the background. And I do that just in case I have to undo everything and I don't want to use the history because you can only undo so many times. Okay, now in order to see these power lines, because the sky is dark and there is a lot of noise, I'm going to zoom in. Now I'm not going to correct the noise until after I do this. So the scratch remover tool is in the clone menu. So you have your clone, smart clone, object remover, and scratch remover. So now it's really pretty simple, and you'll want to adjust the size. And I make it as small as possible to fit the line or the scratch that I'm removing. And you just run it along with the line in the middle. Now, a good tip is to keep it as small as you can, because sometimes when you get to areas that contain different shades or different colors, it will scramble them a little bit. And in that case, they can often be fixed with the clone brush. But if you don't have to, that's better because that's just extra work. So as you can see, I'm doing it little by little, and that's mainly because you have to make a straight line with the scratch remover tool, and the power lines are curved. So now I'm going to get to that and stop. And as you can see, it did leave a streak. So sometimes if you go over it, it will look a little bit better. Okay, so now let's do the bottom one. And I know it's probably hard to see on the video, but there is a darker line here, which is the power line. And just like anything else, it's a little bit tedious, but it's so worth it not to have these in your photo. So I'm going to do the poles too, but those might be a little bit harder, so we're just going to start with the lines. And like I said, if the colors look streaky or a little bit scrambled, that can be fixed later. And there's one little area I might want to try to fix. And now it might be harder when I get to these darker areas. But keep in mind when you do noise removal, it will soften the photo somewhat, and your streaks will not be as noticeable then. And for those of you that don't know, when you shoot a photo in a higher ISO, in lower light, that's where you get the noise. And as you can see, the noise is like snow on an old TV set. And now the clouds are a little bit streaky anyway, so I'm hoping this won't be too noticeable. And once I brighten it up a little bit, that should help as well. Now, of course, you're going to want to take the poles out too, because obviously, if you have the poles and no power lines, that may look funny. And sometimes it takes more than once going over it. Let's center it here a little bit. And now if you were to upload a photo like this, say to Facebook, you wouldn't notice the noise because Facebook compresses the photo. Not that that's a good thing, but I guess the less noise is a good thing. Okay, let's try to fix some of those streaks. All right, now I'll zoom out. And as you can see, you cannot really see where I made the corrections. But I'm going to do the poles now. Now this may be a little trickier. I'm going to make it a little bit wider, but I'm probably going to have to clone. Probably want to go to the top of that tree. And now to get the rest of that out, I'm going to use the clone brush. Now you want to make sure it's big enough, but not too big. And in Paint Shop Pro with the clone brush, and I like this so much better than Photoshop, you just right click on an area that you're going to copy and left click on the area to place your clone. And my opacity is down, so I'm going to turn that up. And now you want to select an area that's very similar or right next to what you're replacing. And that's pretty good. So let's get this pole out, go back to the scratch remover. And there's one there even in the distance. And I think that's it, other than some fence posts, which don't bother me as much. Okay. Now I'm going to fix the noise. And this version of Paint Shop Pro, which is 2022 Ultimate, has the AI tools. And one of them is denoise. Okay, let's see how that did. That did pretty good. That did a better job than the old noise removal tools. Okay, then I'm just going to make some final touches here. Go to adjust. Let's see what the one-step photo fix does. It brightened it up. I'm going to go to brightness and contrast and local tone mapping. That will help bring out the darker tones in the clouds. Make it look just a little more interesting. And now I'm going to go to hue and saturation and increase the vibrancy a little bit. All right, now I would probably leave that photo just as it is. And if you have any questions, please feel free to post them in the comments below. And remember to like and subscribe. And also let me know what program you like to use to edit photos. Thank you. Goodbye.